So anyway, here we are. Now up in the cave. Ram's going on and on about how he's wanting to get back to his family. Ram's up in this cave, he's been chased there by a lion. Old man's up there. Old man's up there with this kind of stuff. You know, fainting goat, wounded warrior, here by the green vault. These guys, they're not my favorite. They got a great logo though. They're good weed. Tasty. Could be a little smoother. They're a good price. Good product. The old man's listening to the ram go on and on. And recall that the ram had, or the old man had deduced at this time that the ram was a smart and brave young ram. He had danced on the seashore with the crabs, under the moon and the sun on the same full day journey. It's late now. Ram. Wondering what will occur. And the old man is seeing this poor young ram. Truth of the deer's antlers comes to the mind of the old man. He says, well, I understand that you are intelligent enough to know that if you merely follow the lion's tracks, you may well find your way back to the ocean, but you may cross the lion's den or other hazards. So, the deer is a friend of both the goat and the bull, and the ram and the lion. The deer and the lions have a pact, and in honoring that pact, they are where they hurt. There's a degree of respect in deer and lions. The deer protect the herd from the other creatures. Or, I'm sorry, the deer do protect the herd from the other creatures and pick off little birds from time to time. But the lions protect the herd from other creatures, hyenas, cats, such things that may. And likewise, they have a deal with the jaguar. Tells the young ram, this baby ram, who's going to become a wiser young ram soon. Because the old man tells everything that the ram needs to know to get home without having to follow the lion's tracks. And he says you will make it through 2 new heirs. And these are the heirs of the antlers of the deer. And you will know these through the eyes of the jaguar. And the ram is listening to this, and it's not making much sense to the young ram. The young ram has had a long day and is tired, and is afraid and confused. Is longing for the refreshing rest that he had not when he awoke at the side of the sea and had the dream that he did not recall, but the rest that he had after eating the strangely salty and meaty flesh of the red caps of the bullfuck. And then the old man said, yeah, I understand the deer, being an ally to the forest and the sea and the mountain, knows many creatures, and likewise will have the medicine she needs. At this, the deer, the hopes are up for the ram. The ram understands in the morning after rest in the cave, we'll be able to get out and understand what this old man is even talking about, these antlers. And the old man says, you know, the antlers are just a means of balancing what is in the confusion in the left and the right mind of the deer. And even if there's a bird's nest in those antlers, the refreshing bit of wisdom from what the deer tracks lay in both the desert and the swamp becomes the magnificent ally of those going back to the sea and those following the airs that you will find in the second air. And now the ram is extremely confused. And the old man says, don't worry about the airs, that's just what's between the deer's antlers. Following the tracks through the antlers leads one to both salt and to sky. And while there may be gold along the path, at both the tip of the mountain and the base, the journey is but the third quarter turn, which you will meet halfway home. At that, the ram falls asleep, wakes up in the morning, has a drink. The old man has fresh snow melt in the mountain, and warm tea. And as the old man is putting out the coals, tea, fire, it says that it is not light in here and you need the fresh red carpet of forest floor. At this, the ram is aware that he is in good territory, and he steps out of the cave, steps out of the cave, and he sees crabs flying these crabs are crawling along the trees. They're making nests in the trees with owls. It's a strange new place, and he says, my goodness, this forest floor is crawling with red crabs, and there's even a lobster or two. And now the ram is thoroughly confused, gets frightened by all of these giant crabs. These are not like the baby crabs that were crawling on him having fun, that he was being very careful not to smash, but it was sand after all. And these crabs are not an attack to the ram, but the ram is frightened and goes charging into a tree, and squirrels go flying out of the tree, and the crabs and the squirrels are just having at each other. Bees, snakes, everything. This forest is out of control. The ram is like, alright, I gotta orient with the deer. This is what the old man was talking about. Something about, the deer's gonna lead me back. Because there aren't even any lion tracks out here anymore. Who knows what happened last night. And there's no deer in sight. So what he does is, he's a smart ram. And he gets two of the most similar looking branches that came off the tree that he just bought. Boy ties them together at their base. Tries to put them on his head right here in front. And he realizes that he can't see and it's uncomfortable and all this other stuff, and he goes, alright. I've seen my face in the water. It'll look funny if they're sticking out of my, ram's horns back here, but, they won't they will be coming out like where the eyes are of the deer or something. I don't know, but he doesn't even have a good idea what these deer are supposed to look like anyways, but he puts them in his horns, of course. And the crabs are still running all over him. And then he sees the jaguar. Big black jaguar. Prowling through the woods. This jaguar doesn't have the same sense as the lion. Doesn't have the same sense that he's confident. Or not as confident. He's got his confidence, he's just not showing it. And there's no reason to, because no, jaguar is not hungry. It doesn't need to eat the lamb, or so the ram thinks. And so the ram is following this jaguar. This jaguar is wondering, why the heck is this ram following me? Doesn't it know that I'm a jaguar? And that its death means nothing to me. I'm neither the king of the swamp, nor am I a mirage on the oasis. But I've crossed many lands to be where I am. And I have lived on less meaty flesh than this ram to get here. I have points in my eyes that lead none astray in the desert, nor from the foothills nor the peaks of any mountain covered in any trees. And as this jaguar is walking along, Ram is thinking, why am I following a jaguar when I was afraid to follow a lion? And I have not seen a deer. Perhaps this jaguar has murdered all of the deer. It's getting thicker and thicker in the woods. Darker, darker. And the ram has no sense of direction, aside from the color of the birds in the area. And ram has a good scent for the jaguar. Stops for a drink in a swamp where very strangely striped wolves come. And this is a strange swamp because there are no deer, yet strangely striped wolves. And they're like almost a glowing green with a glowing purple. Yeah, not quite it's like a Morse code or like a barcode pattern on them, that it's not quite a zebra and not quite a cheetah. They're stripes that are dotted stripes. At this point, the ram's thinking, I must be going insane. I haven't had any of that wonderfully meaty red mushroom all day. And I have not cleared my head Maybe I'm still dreaming in the cave, and the old man has put a spell on me. Because now I'm surrounded by wolves. I don't know how to get out of this swamp. I can smell no seawater of any kind. And the ram starts sinking into the swamp. The wolves start screeching. And the owls have been tied up by woodpeckers, while bats the bats flew to the jaguars when the truth was known by both the ants that were eating what got them to the highest stick in order to scratch the bark of the tree, to resonate it for why the crabs were running into the owls' nests. And this pattern that was scratched out by the ant is a story that easily the sonar is known by the bat. So these insects in this forest, they have a plastic dance you see with death. And they have structures, lattice work. And they move more than honey through the forest. Pooh Bear knows this. Piglet too. And of course there is a rhinoceros in the damn swamp. And a gator. And they're rustling like you wouldn't believe while the ram is sinking. There's not a flowing drop of crick around. And these damn antlers. Not a deer in sight. The ram's eyes, his golden eyes, are growing a dim, nearly beige tone of yellow. And as hope is not lost, two hawks come down, grab these antlers, pull poor baby ram out of the swamp. A mighty carry, but nothing for two hawks. Carry him to a prairie. At the prairie there's a damn aquarium, and inside the aquarium there's a snowball. And on the snowball it says Happy Hanukkah. And there's two jaguars. And on their tails it says, Who cometh? After this little show with the hawks, the ram turns around. There are two jaguars sitting there. And they say, The bats have told us that you need to get back to the sea. The two of us will guide you as one jaguar. And you may allow us to do the patterning that you need for your journey. At this, the ram is pleasantly surprised. Goes on a journey through the prairie to find that it is a plateau, a large, large plateau. And at the edge of the plateau, there is a flying, fish-tailed, horned freak with a mighty staff. This highly evolved being flying at the top of the plateau. It says, "Hello, good jaguar. Your hole in the middle of the plateau serves you well. The coal must be good down there." The jaguar says, "We keep a clean forest. The crabs serve us and you." Then this mighty trident wielding fish fin servicing fellow says, "I will gladly escort your good ram from here. You shall be my service now." And the ram says, "We hunt. This ram is of the waters." And the flying goat-horned fish king says, "Yes, I am of the sea, can't you see? I have the authority to guide, serviceably to live, in good practice for you, and you may return to your lands with your strange crabs." And the jaguar says, "I still think we, if you see my eyes, good king of the mountain, are speaking to this plateau, and us jaguar and this ram have a deal with the deer and the hawks." And the flying goat king of the sea says, "Yes, our bats underneath the sea in our mighty city have told us in golden tone what your mere clutters and clucks have told you through the crows." Well, this conversation goes on, and the ram is mesmerized. He has a ram's journey of no kind. And the jaguar says, "In all good kindness we shall guide this very smart ram, and we will let the men decide." Flying Goat King says, "I am the king of the men. They are of my service and have been for a very long time." Jaguar says, "Yes, but the men love the cats. Even the lion they respect." And the Goat King of the sea says, "Yes, but they have neither the intelligence nor the cunning of the craft to carry your ram, which I am claiming to deliver for our good men to decide." And he says, "The men do not belong to me. They are in the fey of light, and that light is of the lion, which the birds whistle. and your crow. It may well speak the tongues of your ram. But without deer on your good plateau, your crabs count for nothing. For the crabs, purple, are to your teal not as red as mine. For in these very vibrant purple crabs I have seen what your owls speak of. And now the ram starts sliding down the cliff. And of course the jaguars whistle for the hawks to grab the ram. And the business negotiation now becomes a thing of aircraft. The jaguars separate. One remains on the top plateau, the other goes back into the hole in the middle of the plateau. Returns down, and at this point, a disc flips from the sky. The disc from the sky is silver. It reflects everything that allows pigmentations of the crab to appear, any color that it may. The relevancy of the bartering of the jaguar with the sea goat. The king becomes a kingly and steely coating iron of rolling thunder along the legends of the land. And the ram is at home, underneath the sea, rising up to remember the dream when it wakes again at the side of the sea.